Hello everyone, and welcome! Today, I'd like to introduce you to a very unique aspect of Japanese culture, the tradition of souvenirs. And as a case study, we will focus on one of Japan's most beloved souvenir sweets from Kyoto, Yatsuhashi. Let us begin with the culture itself. In Japan, souvenirs are not just about buying a keepsake for yourself. They are deeply tied to the idea of sharing your experiences with others. Whenever Japanese people go on a trip, it is almost expected that they will bring back something edible, usually sweets to share with family, friends, or co-workers. This practice is so common that not bringing back souvenirs can sometimes feel a little awkward. The meaning goes beyond the object itself. A souvenir, or omiyage in Japanese, is a way of saying, "Thank you for letting me take this trip. It's not just my personal experience, I want to share a piece of it with you." In other words, omiyage are a tool to maintain and strengthen human relationships. For example, an office worker might return from a weekend trip and, on Monday morning, place a box of regional sweets on the office table for colleagues. At home, parents often bring back treats for their children or grandparents. The gift is not extravagant, it is small, thoughtful, and symbolic. Compared with Western countries, where souvenirs are often something like t-shirts, mugs, or magnets to remember a trip, Japan's omiyage culture is much more about others than about oneself. This is one of the things that makes traveling in Japan fascinating for foreign visitors. Now, let us move on to Kyoto, the city we will focus on today. Kyoto is often called the cultural heart of Japan. It was the capital of the country for over 1,000 years, beginning in 794 with the founding of Heian. Because of this, Kyoto has preserved countless temples, shrines, gardens, and traditional townscapes. Every year, millions of visitors, both Japanese and international, come to Kyoto to experience its rich cultural heritage. They enjoy cherry blossoms in spring, colorful leaves in autumn, and many festivals throughout the year. Kyoto is also famous for its food culture, from elegant kaiseki cuisine to vegetarian shojin ryori, and from matcha sweets to traditional wagashi. The city offers an endless variety of culinary experiences. Naturally, this also means that Kyoto has an incredible range of souvenirs, pickles, tea, traditional crafts, and sweets. You will find all of them here. But among all these choices, one sweet stands out, as perhaps the most iconic souvenir of Kyoto: Yatsuhashi. So, what exactly is Yatsuhashi? If you ask any Japanese person about souvenirs from Kyoto, Yatsuhashi will almost certainly be the first thing they mention. It is sold everywhere in Kyoto Station, in shops near famous temples, and in every major souvenir store. For many Japanese, especially students on school trips, buying Yatsuhashi is almost a tradition in itself. There are two main types of Yatsuhashi. The first is the traditional baked version. It is made from rice flour, sugar, and a spice called niki, which is similar to cinnamon. These thin, crispy sheets have a distinctive flavor and aroma. The second, and perhaps more famous today, is nami Yatsuhashi, or raw Yatsuhashi. This version has a soft, mochi-like texture. It is often folded into a triangle and filled with sweet red bean paste. In recent years, many new flavors have been introduced: matcha, chocolate, strawberry, and even seasonal limited editions. In short, Yatsuhashi is both traditional and modern, a sweet that bridges the past and the present. The history of Yatsuhashi goes back to the early Edo period. In the 17th century, there are several theories about the origin of the name, but the most famous one comes from the Tales of Ice, a classic collection of Japanese poetry and stories. In this book, the nobleman and poet Ariwara no narrator travels to a place called Yatsuhashi in what is now Aichi Prefecture. The name Matsuhashi literally means 8 bridges, referring to a series of bridges across a marshy river. Inspired by this story, confectioners in Kyoto named their sweet Yatsuhashi. The baked version came first, shaped somewhat like wooden planks, evoking the image of bridges. Later, in the 20th century, the soft raw version was invented, and it became an instant hit. From then on, Yatsuhashi established itself as the #1 souvenir of Kyoto. Why is Yatsuhashi more than just a sweet? First, it has become a symbol of Kyoto itself. When people think of Kyoto souvenirs, Yatsuhashi is always on the list. It is something you buy not only for the taste, but also for the meaning behind it. Second, Yatsuhashi represents the balance between tradition and innovation. The baked version with niki flavor preserves the old, simple charm. Meanwhile, the soft version, with new flavors, reflects modern taste and creativity. Third, Yatsuhashi perfectly fits the logic of Japan's souvenir culture. It is affordable, easy to share, nicely packaged, and carries a story with it. This combination makes it ideal as a gift for others. In other words, Yatsuhashi is not just food, it is a cultural artifact, a bridge connecting history, local identity, and the spirit of Japanese hospitality. Today we explored 3 things. First, the unique Japanese culture of souvenirs, where gifts are bought for others as a gesture of thoughtfulness. Second, the background of Kyoto, the ancient capital and cultural treasure house of Japan. And finally, Yatsuhashi, the sweet that embodies both tradition and modernity, and stands as the ultimate Kyoto souvenir. So, the next time you visit Kyoto, be sure to pick up a box of Yatsuhashi as you share it with family or friends. Remember that you are also sharing a piece of Japanese history and culture. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.